Hello and welcome to Start Select, the weekly video game show from GameSpot UK, based in sunny old Blighty. We're back again with another delicious meal of gaming this week, with amazing games sandwiched between awesome competitions. First of all, Luke Anderson is going to be taking an in-depth look at Scribblenauts, which was awarded GameSpot's Game of E3 2009. Then I'm going to be inviting you to see two upcoming Xbox Live Arcade games in Trials HD and Madballs. Finally, if you're worried that the PlayStation 3 version of Ninja Gaiden Sigma II is going to be less gory than its 360 counterpart, then Mark Walton has sliced and diced through both versions to give us the definitive answer. We've also got a competition to give away 5 copies of Overlord II on PC, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and we'll announce the winners of the Call of Juarez Bound in Blood competition. But first, let's get scribbling in Scribblenauts.
Scribblenauts stole the limelight at this year's E3, and we loved it so much we gave it our game of the show, trumping high-definition heavyweights including Splinter Cell Conviction, Star Wars The Old Republic, and God of War 3. We recently got a chance to spend some more time with this delightful game when Warner Brothers and Fifth Cell dropped by the GameSpot UK headquarters. If you're unfamiliar with Scribblenauts, then this isn't your typical run-of-the-mill experience. It's a mix of platformer and puzzle game, but what makes it so special is how you interact with the game. You write words using the stylus on the touchscreen, and then the item you've written will appear in front of you. You can then use these objects to help solve the puzzles you're presented with. In other words, it's a completely new concept in video games. Naturally, there are a few limitations to the system. The game won't recognise names, places, shapes, root words, mature or vulgar content, and anything that's copyrighted. There's also a limit to how many objects you can place in a level, as each object takes up a certain amount of the on-screen memory bar. It's easy to delete an item and start again, simply by dragging and dropping the item into a trash can on the touchscreen. On one level, we try to get rid of a fly by writing fly spray and repellent, but in this case, bug spray and insect spray were the acceptable solutions. The sheer amount of objects in the database is amazing, and while you may stump it occasionally, this is usually the exception to the rule. Scribblenauts has both platforming and puzzle-based levels. The platform missions are linear point-to-point levels, with a few obstacles thrown into the equation. To complete them, you'll need to find the starite, a star-shaped item located at the end of the level. In puzzle levels, you're given a hint, and once you solve the puzzle, you'll earn the starite. There are 220 levels in total, split across 10 worlds, and you can unlock them by earning the game's currency, Ollars. At the end of each level, you're awarded Ollars for keeping within a certain time and for writing as few words as possible. There's also a level editor to create brand new levels, and you can even get a head start by using existing templates. You can drop AI characters and objects into your level, add a hint, and then place the starite. You can also save your levels and share them with friends over local Wi-Fi and online. We could only create platform levels in our demo build, but we're hoping that the final build will also allow you to create puzzle-based ones. Either way, it appears to be a great addition to Scribblenauts, and we look forward to spending more time with the level editor in the future. Given that Fifth Cell also developed Drawn to Life, it's not surprising that both games have a similar art style, with Scribblenauts boasting rough, hand-drawn graphics, which suit the game perfectly. The most impressive aspect of the game's visuals is that all of the objects we drew actually looked pretty much as expected, and could be instantly recognised despite the DS's low-resolution screen. Scribblenauts is coming to Nintendo DS this September. For more on this charming experience, read our updated hands-on and check out the rest of our content from E3 2009.
I was lucky enough to check out two upcoming Xbox Live Arcade titles recently, Trials HD and Madballs. Both are due on the console imminently, so let's go and check them out. Trials HD took us completely by surprise at E3 2009. The game was sat inconspicuously at Microsoft's E3 booth, and we got to play it while waiting for another appointment. Trouble was, as we tried again and again to make a difficult jump, we couldn't for the life of us put it down, and we spent a good half an hour just toying around in its sandbox world. Now, we were lucky enough to get an even longer play of the game from the comfort of our London office, and we're pleased to report that it's no less addictive. Trials HD is being developed by Red Lynx, who also worked on the PC game Trials 2 2nd Edition. Like its previous game, the idea here is to race a motorbike from left to right, navigating a variety of surfaces, jumps and objects along the way. It's remarkably simple to control, but the genius is the slightly over-the-top physics system, which allows for some incredible tricks and stunts. The game starts out simply enough, with small ramps and obstacles to tackle, but it soon becomes maddeningly difficult. You're gradually introduced to new tricks, such as riding the bike upside down, riding backwards, and even riding over huge metal balls. As you progress though, you get access to more powerful bikes, and as you get used to the controls, you soon find yourself inadvertently pulling off wild spins through the air before you land. You're also awarded different medals depending on how long each run takes you, but be warned, gold medals are only awarded for perfect run-throughs, and it's addictively infuriating trying to get a gold medal. If the challenge of the main levels wasn't enough, then there are also 12 minigames to play through, which test the skills you've learned and put them to the absolute limit. There's the now mandatory bone crunching mode where you have to damage your rider as much as possible, but we loved the inside the ball mode, which is like Super Monkey Ball with a bike. Then there's a level creator, which we got to play around with, and you'll be able to share your creations online with other people once the game launches. There are also leaderboards, replays, and in-game friend scores, a la Geometry Wars. All in all, Trials HD is shaping up to be a stunning addition to the Xbox Live Arcade, and we really can't praise this game enough at this stage. All that remains for us to say is please Microsoft, release this game soon, and you can check out more of our hands-on impressions in our written preview now. Madballs was a ridiculously popular toy phenomenon back in the 1980s, and now developer Playbrains is helping to bring it back through the medium of video games. Madballs in Babbo Invasion is the not very catchy title of its game, which is due to be released on Xbox Live very, very shortly. We already checked out the single player game recently, so we decided to take the game online and play against the developers in Canada to find out more about the multiplayer package. The basic gameplay of Madballs is that you roll around each level shooting at enemies. However, the amount of different balls and weapons on offer means that there's actually a lot of strategy involved. For example, the larger Madballs are heavy and unable to fit into certain holes, but they're less prone to recoiling from some of the bigger weapons. Each Madball also has a special ability, such as a short burst of speed or temporary flight. Finally, each enemy is susceptible to different weapon types, so you need to flip between ammo types to win. It's standard multiplayer fare and even quite cute at times, but its looks certainly hide a deep amount of strategy in the game. The online component of the game is certainly comprehensive for an Xbox Live Arcade title, with support for 16 players online in the competitive game modes. That's not all though, the story is also playable by up to 4 people cooperatively online, and there's even a map-making mode. Finally, Playbrains wants to reward you, the player, for playing every game mode available, so you'll unlock new weapons and Madballs every couple of minutes as you play. We got a chance to play nearly all of the multiplayer modes during our online session. The first was Assault Mode, which is effectively a straight-up team deathmatch, and Capture the Flag, in which you bring the enemy flag to your base. These are concepts that certainly should be familiar to anyone with multiplayer shooter experience, but Madballs does have a couple of unique game modes up its sleeve. The Avatar mode uses your Xbox Live avatar and turns it into a Madball, allowing you to face off against other avatars online. This is a first for Xbox Live, and one of the reasons why Microsoft came on board with the game in the first place. Although it should be noted that your avatar doesn't shed blood when it gets shot at, it bleeds confetti instead. What's more, the more kills you get, the bigger your head becomes in the game, making you a more obvious target for the enemies. Finally, there's the Invasion mode, where players take it in turns to build a level piece by piece, and then set out their bases and power nodes. After this stage, the game builds a dynamic level based on what the group has selected, so in theory you'll never play the same match twice. From what we've seen so far, Madballs is shaping up really well for its release, which the developer claims could be in the next couple of weeks for what they hope will be 1200 Microsoft points. Check out our full single player hands-on of the game for more information, and we'll have a lot more for you once the game is released.
Bummer, dude.
Competition time now on Start Select. Last week we had 3 copies of Call of Juarez Bound in Blood to give away on either the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. All you have to do is answer this question. Developer Techland created its own technology to power Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, but what was the name of the engine they created? The answer was Chrome Engine, and the winners we picked out of our inbox are Steve Facey from Devon and Sandeep Danjal from Bristol, who both wanted it on the PlayStation 3. Cameron Leahy from London is our other winner who wanted it on the Xbox 360. Congratulations guys, Ubisoft will see you down the saloon to hand over your prizes. This week we've got 5 copies of Overlord II to give away. We saw the game a couple of weeks ago on Start Select, and now Codemasters has given us 5 copies of the finished game to give away. What's more, you can win it on either the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 or the PC. Just tell us which version you'd like if you win. All you have to do is answer this question. Overlord 2 is developed by Triumph Studios, but in which town and country are they based? If you think you know the answer, email it to competitions@gamespot.co.uk, including your name and address, and we'll draw the winners on the next week's Start Select. Now, let's go and check out Ninja Gaiden Sigma II on PlayStation 3 with our very own Mark Walton.
Recently, we managed to get our dirty little paws on preview code for Ninja Gaiden Sigma II for the PS3. Developer Temco has gone on record as saying that the game will be less gory on the PS3 than the Xbox 360 original. So we decided to check both versions out. Is it true that Ryo Hayabusa has been censored on the Sony system? Watch on to find out more. Shockingly, it does seem like the Xbox 360 version of Ninja Gaiden Sigma II has the edge in terms of bloodletting. The graphic decapitations and limb severing are still in the PS3 version, but the sprays of blood are notably toned down. Instead of seeing the red stuff pouring out every wound, we see a strange purple mist emanating from the decapitations. Whether it's a sliced leg or a full-on head loss, the weird purple stuff appears to let you know you've made contact. If you're not a gore fanatic, then you should be able to live with this, and at least in terms of gameplay, the PS3 version is identical to the Xbox 360 original. Many people will also be wondering about the graphics in the PS3 version, but we're impressed so far from what we've seen from our preview build. Even at an early stage, Sigma II is looking like a visual treat on Sony's console. The environments are a feast for the eyes, and both the traditional Japanese huts and a bustling skyline behind it look beautiful on PlayStation 3. In this head-to-head comparison, the PS3 Cherry Blossom does seem to be more vibrant, particularly in these gorgeous pink leaves that are falling to the ground. While Ninja Gaiden Sigma II is still rock hard on the PS3, we can't wait to have another chance to play the game. It's released on PlayStation 3 this September, so keep your eyes on GameSpot for more on the game in the upcoming months.
That's all for this week's Start Select. Remember, we'll be taking on the Aussies in the GameSpot Ashes 2009 shortly, so keep an eye out on the site to find out who'll be taking home the silverware this year. Whatever happens though, you guys are the real winners, as we'll be back next Friday with another edition of Start Select, so we'll see you in a week's time.